And just like that, we're back at it again. Welcome back to Fourth Down Talk, where every down counts, and so does your opinion. I'm here with my boy Extra Crispy, and Chris, being a resident 49ers fan, he's going to take the mic. He's going to give his point of view about the season, considering how it started, how it went, and how it ended. So sit back, relax, and we're going to start in just a few moments.
It's fourth down talk, get ready for the play. Football insights, we're here to say. From kickoff to the final whistle blow, we break it down just so you know. Fourth down talk, we're in the zone. Football, passion, heart, and soul. Tune in now, it's time to see the game we love, our destiny.
There was a time before this season started where there was a plucky team in the Bay Area that was considered by Vegas the preseason favorites to go on and win the Super Bowl. And when you look back on it, you're like, well, why not? I mean, this team had two possible MVP candidates. Yeah, Brock Purdy, the last pick in the draft, set up to become the starter, not by his choice. He was pushed into it. Alongside him, he had Christian McCaffrey, Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. He had an offense. These guys were an overtime play away from beating Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. We were favored in every single game going into the season. Every game. The only team that was favored by Vegas in every single game going into this season. And by week 6, you could argue the season was already starting to die. And as a fan, it's mind-boggling. Kyle Shanahan, you have these players on your team, you draft these guys, you stand there on your podium every season in training camp and tell us, oh man, this rookie we picked up, he's so good. Man, this player we picked up, he's really good, but he doesn't really fit the scheme, so we're not going to use him. So games go by and you're like, okay, well, clearly that player's not doing well. I'm going to use a specific player as an example, and I know this is not 100% fair to him, but Charvarius Ward. Charvarius Ward, early on in the season, was showing signs of he wasn't playing well. And any other coach, I feel like, would have noticed, hey, one of our starting corners is getting killed out here. Like, he is getting beaten on every play. Take him out, put the rookie in, do something. Did Kyle do that? No, he didn't. He just kept playing him and kept playing him and kept playing him until Charvarius stepped away from the team. Stepped away from the team. Enter Renardo Green, the guy that we drafted. Oh, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4 interceptions. Kid just racks them up immediately. You can't sit here and tell me we have this talent on the team and Kyle just doesn't play them. This whole season, the whole narrative was, oh man, we're not doing so well. We're going to be great when Christian gets back. We're going to be great when Christian gets back. Christian came back. The guy who had Achilles issues in both legs missed the first 10 weeks of the season, and your first response is to just put him straight back into full-on 20 carries a game. Who does that? Why would you run your star player into the ground like that? And just when you thought, okay, well, maybe Kyle was just eager to get his guy back. Dre Greenlaw, same story. Injured in the Super Bowl, took a long time to come back. A lot of people were wondering if he even should by the time he came back. And if he did, man, let's put him on a pitch count. Let's put him on a snap count. Ease him back in. He's the heart of the defense. But no, what was it? The game he came back in, he had to leave because he got hurt. And this is how we found out Devondre Campbell did not want to come back in after being taken out because Dre Greenlaw was returning to the lineup in the first place. This whole season doesn't feel like a team. It feels like a bunch of guys who got paid to either be mercenaries. They were a bunch of guys who were just playing because they had to, but it doesn't feel like a team that wanted to play for a coach that wanted to actually be here. And to go from, and this could just be the bitter fan side of me saying this, but to go from being a play in overtime in the Super Bowl away from winning to having people question if you're even a good enough coach to keep the quarterback that you have in less than one season is not a good indictment on Kyle Shanahan. I see people touting him as this next Andy Reid, as this, well, he's not successful now, but if he just keeps up at it, he'll be there. And I can see the argument of why people say that. But as a fan, and I want other 49ers fans to hear what I'm saying on this. I need you to look me dead in the eye and tell me you believe that with this team and this coach, if we are ever put in a situation where we have to go and win the Super Bowl, that you think he can do it, because I don't think he can. I don't think he can. He's had 2 opportunities. He's had more than that if you count the NFC title games. Because those games outside of the Brock Purdy game where he got hurt, those games aren't blowouts. The first Super Bowl loss was 11 points. That's not a blowout. The second Super Bowl, 3 points. NFC title game in 2017, that was a 3-point game. Like, Kyle can get there, but if you get Kyle in the game and he's not leading by 10 or more points in the fourth quarter, you're going to lose. He's going to lose. I think he's the only quarterback, he's the only coach like in a situation where if you're down 1 to 8 points in the fourth quarter, I think he is 0-45 in those situations. So all you have to do is get the Niners to a situation where you get a lead on them and it's game over. He can't come from behind. He can't play unless he has a lead. And when put in pressure situations, he has a scheme where his quarterback cannot make a decision to change something if he needs to. And if you can't see a problem with that, and I don't like blind fan loyalty. I will cheer for my team, but I will not respect everything the team does just because the team does it. I think this is the year Kyle Shanahan should have been on the hot seat. I think his seat should be on fire going into next season. And the Yorks have already stated Lynch and Shanahan are coming back. Now, I know you guys might not all watch 49ers games. Go back and watch the last couple, because you're starting to see Lynch and Shanahan are also not on the same page. I think someone is going to lose their job, and I don't know which one it's going to be.
So, with that being said, do you think should be, I don't want to use the word scapegoat, but who do you think would be the one that ends up leaving?
I think Yorks like Shanahan more than they like John Lynch. I think if someone's going to leave, John Lynch leaves and Kyle Shanahan stays. Now, whether or not that helps the team, I don't know. We have to get a guy who can at least draft in the first round, because the Niners have been pretty bad at first round draft picks since they've been here. And I don't know. I'm just saying, man, we had Adam Peters as one of our VPs, and the team was functional. The team got along. I don't think it's lost on me that he goes to Washington. Suddenly, they know how to draft well. They're a well put together, composed team. They're in the playoffs, and the Niners didn't even make it. And there's been drama all year. There's been issues with the players. I think Ayuk and his holdout hurt the team. Trent Williams holdout, the issue with Deebo Samuel, the issue with Nick Bosa making political statements. Every time the team won, there was an underlying story that took over the rest of the team. Oh yeah, the team won, but Jake Moody can't make a kick. Oh yeah, the team won, but is Christian McCaffrey going to be healthy? Oh yeah, the team won. Oh, but Deebo's over there hitting the long snapper, telling them to lock in. Like, even after they won against the Bears, what was the story the week that the 49ers beat the Bears? Devo's complaining he didn't get the ball enough. And then when they give him the ball, what does he do with it? He fails. It's not a team. This didn't feel like a team of guys who wanted to play and win the Super Bowl. It felt like a team full of guys who knew that they were too old to get stuff done this year, but they still had to play the season out. 25 is not going to be as fun as a lot of 49ers fans think, because I'm just going to flat out say, unless we win the division, we're not making the playoffs.
Okay, well,
We're not.
We don't have to be so bleak. But,
I mean, looking at the schedule for next year, on paper, it's not a terrible schedule. We get the South. That's the AFC South, NFC South. And we play the Bears again. And we play the Giants, because we finished last place in our division and they played last place in there. So it's not a bad schedule on paper. The question is, can Brock Purdy get the job done with hopefully a running back? Because that's the other thing. He's down to his fourth or fifth string running back? Christian McCaffrey, hurt. Jordan Mason, hurt. Elijah Mitchell, hurt before the season started. Isaac Arendo was fourth on the depth chart. And just a couple weeks ago, they had to use Patrick Taylor, who's fifth on the depth chart. I tell you, one of the least secure jobs in the NFL is being a running back for Kyle Shanahan, boy. I tell you what, you're going to get hurt.
Seems to be the case. Well, let me ask you, like, what would you like to see, in essence, be done? What would you like to see be done to try to help turn the ship around? Do you think they need
multiple things?
Yeah, go ahead.
Special teams coordinator, you got to go, buddy. You're out. We were one of the worst special teams in the league. Nick Sorensen, I know Kyle is your buddy. Defensive coordinator, you got to go. I don't care if y'all bring back Steve Wilks. I would like Robert Saleh to come back, but people seem to forget that under Steve Wilks, the Niners had the third-ranked defense. They blame him for the team losing that year in the NFC title game and stuff, but he had the third-ranked defense when he was there. it wasn't Steve Wilkes' fault, whether he was in the booth or not. So special teams coordinator, gone. Defensive coordinator, gone. Deebo Samuel, gone. He needs to be a Falcon or a Buccaneer in the next 2 weeks. All right, get him out of here. He's not as good anymore. He is a problem. He somehow has managed to become a bad wide receiver and a bad running back. He is essentially a $20+ million kick returner, and I don't want him on the team. Trade him if you can, but I don't think a lot of teams are going to give you a lot for him. Not right now. You might get a third for him, maybe a fourth. Trade him, and as much as people don't want to hear it, call up teams and trade Nick Bosa. You can still get at least a first for him, maybe two by a team that's desperate on defense. Get what you can, turn those first round picks into more picks. And you know what? I am going to mention it because I know it's a long shot, but I am now on board with the idea of kicking the tires on the 49ers calling for J.J. McCarthy. I saw people saying something trade up to get Shador Sanders. No, I don't want to do any of that. No trading up or any of that. Don't do that. It's not going to work. We don't need another media circus. Here's the deal. Sam Darnold is flourishing on the Vikings. They're up to 14 wins. They're possibly going to win the division, possibly going to win the conference. They don't even know what the rookie can do yet, but right now you're in a win now mode. Catch the Vikings while they're on a high, make them agree to keep Sam Darnold, send Brock Purdy and a first round pick, the number 11 pick, to Minnesota, get J.J. McCarthy in return. You have another quarterback for 3 years. There's analysts that say right now that if J.J. McCarthy were to come out of the draft this year, he would be one of the best quarterbacks taken off the board. Take what you can with the young guy, start fresh. You have Ayuk coming back. He's already taken jump shots in the 49ers facility. You got Ricky Pearsall, you got Jacob Cowing, Juwan Jennings, George Kittle, possibly healthier Christian McCaffrey. This can work if you put another guy in, but you got to do it soon if you're not 100% sold on Brock. So you send Brock and the first rounder to Minnesota, call up Atlanta, get Kirk Cousins to back him up. He has a veteran presence. Kyle gets his guy, and he gets a young guy to mold. I don't see who says no to that besides maybe Minnesota.
Yeah, I'd probably be the biggest one because that's their guy. They haven't
Yeah.
really seen him on the field. They might have seen him in practice, but I mean, I get it. It's still an idea, something that could be kind of thrown around as something that could potentially work. But hypothetically, let's say they go ahead and do all of that, and it's still the same results. Then what? With JJ McCarthy?
No, after that, if it still doesn't work, then it's time for Kyle to go. Because Kyle's still being on the hot seat doesn't go away this year, in my opinion. The Yorks have agreed to bring him back, but at this point, we're going on. It's the same argument I have about Dak Prescott. It's been 8 years. If you're not going to show me anything different, you got to go. And I don't agree with the 49ers fans who say, hey, if we get rid of Kyle, it's going to go back to Jim Tom Sula and Chip Kelly days. No, that's not the automatic assumption. You go in thinking that the coach is going to turn things around. Otherwise, no team would ever get rid of their coach. That's a stupid argument. I would much rather start fresh instead of just continuing to lose with the same guy over.
So you're on the standpoint that you're more afraid of the known than the unknown. You're fine with the
Yes.
unknown. You just don't want to deal with the known anymore.
If the known is not working, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. If this is what Kyle's going to give us, he can't get the job done. I don't think he can. I just don't. I don't want to be disparaging against the team's coach, but he has not shown us that in any pressured situation in a big game that you can count on him. He hasn't.
Well, in that regard, final bit here, who would be the ideal coach you would like to see take over this team?
I know the big one everyone wants to say is Ben Johnson. I don't think Ben Johnson's coming to the 49ers, even if the job was available. I want to see a guy that the team can rally behind, a guy that wants to get out there and fight with and for his team. So, in my opinion, I would hire a guy like Mike Vrabel. I would put him in charge because he would get the team to play for him. The team would like him. He would be a guy that they could work with, very similar to how the team felt about Robert Saleh, how they felt about D'Amico Ryans, except this time it would be the head coach. We also need to get back to playing defense. This was a defensive team that got in your face and played bully ball, and now they're a soft defense.
Oh,
Can't stop the run for nothing.
soft. Call them
Soft.
soft. Wow. All right.
Like, anyone can run on the Niners right now. You want to get your game right? Yeah, go run against San Francisco. They'll give up at least 80 to 100 yards. They're not going to stop you. I don't like any of them.
Well, no, I can tell. All right. Well, real quick to that point, are there any closing thoughts or anything else you want to add?
Brock Purdy is going to get paid. I will say on the record, just so it's out here, if the 49ers give him $60 million this season going into next season, I don't think that's good. I think it's a mistake. I think they should wait.
All
Wait
right.
at least one more season.
Forget the 60 million. Just in general, do you think? Because I mean, the 60 million is kind of up in the air. Is there anything to indicate he would get 60 million?
Yes, that's the market. Now,
No,
his agent,
I guess the market. But is there anything to indicate that he will get 60 million? Like, is there
yeah,
any
well,
rumors, reports that state he's asking for 60 million, or is everyone just speculating because it's the market?
his agent made a statement to Ian Rappaport stating what he has done with his accomplishments on his young age, the fact that he's been to a Super Bowl, he's been to two NFC title games, he has the highest passer rating for like a rookie in that time frame, and he's gotten further than the guy who set the market, which is Dak Prescott. That is the argument. That's why they're going to feel like he deserves the money.
Well, I mean, look, in this league, Kirk Cousins got guaranteed money. Tua got paid. Everyone's getting paid. So I hear what you're saying. It is. We'll see what happens. But you know what? Let us know how you feel in the comments. Do you think the 49ers are just in complete disarray? Do you feel a little bit different where you feel like this is just a bad year? It's not the worst thing in the world. Do you feel like they can come back next year and be right back where they belong because they are just that team? Let us know how you feel in the comments. Thank you for tuning in to Fourth Down Talking. We'll see you on the next down.